Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
We ready to go?
All right.
Excuse me, yes.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor back at you with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go, with my boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, fellas?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Here we are, episode 20. Let's get it.
Episode 20. I was just waiting for you to drop that bar because Barry always drops the bar
Right,
on the
yes,
episode.
sir.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah, you know that. That's
Episode
what I
20,
do.
man. 20 weeks straight, man. How y'all feeling about that?
Feels good. Feels real good.
Yeah, it feels great. Feels awesome. Excited, especially now that the sports are back and, you know, the NBA games are back. So we actually have some NBA games to talk about this week. So, yeah, and I'm fired up. I'm blessed to make it to the 20th episode.
No, that's really crazy, man. And I got to thank both of you guys for being on the journey for 20 episodes consistently every week, like we were saying on last week's show. You know what I'm saying? So this is big for us, regardless. You know what I'm saying? But before we start off the show, please send us your questions, man. If you have any questions that you want us to answer on the show, send us an email or DM us on any of our social media. You can email us at profansports1@gmail.com, and you can support the podcast by donating on our website, profansports.com. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram, profans_sport, Twitter, profansports, Facebook, profansports. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/profansports. We got our podcast dropping every Tuesday morning on all platforms, all major platforms, that is. And now, actually, we're on iHeartRadio, man.
Yes, we are, as of this week. Absolutely. I know we're moving on up, and it's like every week we get a new platform. I know it's pretty cool and awesome to, you know, be approved and get our podcasts out there on these new platforms. So,
yeah, no, that's a fact, man. For people out there that's trying to do podcasts and stuff like that, consistency is key, man, and make sure you got a product so you can get approved for your stuff on all different platforms. We're on Pandora, too, man. I don't know if a lot of people know that,
yes,
but we're on Pandora, and
Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Bro, we're on everything. Stitcher, you know,
Google Podcasts.
Google Podcast.
Yeah. Anchor, all that. Whatever has podcasts has Pro Fan Sports on it. So when in doubt, if you're looking for Pro Fan Sports and you're wondering what platform to, you know, get it on, just type it in that platform and you'll find us there.
Everywhere. And again, our videos drop every Wednesday morning, thanks to our boy Vlad. And thank you, Barry, for getting us on iHeartRadio, man. That was huge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
on this week's podcast, we're going to be covering, as always, the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, MLS, and whatever miscellaneous things that's happening in sports, right? So for the NBA is back. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss some stuff about the Red Sox, see what their outlook is. We're going to jump on the NFL, talking about the Patriots and all the players that opted out for the season. We're going to look at the NFL Top 100. We're going to be looking at some teams' offenses like the Bucks. We're going to talk some other things like Antonio Brown and Matthew Stafford. So be on the lookout for that. For MLB, we're on the Red Sox. We're on the Marlins. Joe Kelly suspension. We'll give you some thoughts about that. Some guys that are opting out. Congratulations to some people. And, you know, the protocols that they came out with. Also, the NHL. NHL is back. We're going to talk about the Bruins a little bit in their exhibition and their season opener. And then we're gonna go down to soccer where Vlad's gonna let you know what's going on, man. So let's get to it, fellas. So the NBA is back, man. You guys paying attention?
Yes, I have. I've been watching a lot of hoops and a lot of basketball this past weekend for sure. So, no, it's good to have live basketball games back on TV.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the games? You guys get to catch any?
Yeah, I watched the Lakers Clippers game. Watched the Lakers Toronto game last night. Also watched the first game, which was that was New Orleans versus
Pelicans versus
Clippers.
Utah.
Oh,
Utah.
yeah.
They played Utah. Yeah.
The first game, that's right.
Yeah, definitely excited to have sports back, and especially the NBA.
Yeah, man. Barry, what'd you see?
Yeah, saw a lot of games. I saw, the first two games, Jazz and Pelicans. I saw, the Lakers and Clippers. I saw some of the Magic and Blazers game on Friday, and that was before the Celtics game came on. So I obviously watched the Celtics and Bucks, and I then also watched the Rockets and Mavericks that was on after the Celtics game as well. That was a really good game.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then I saw a couple games yesterday. I saw a little bit of the Pelicans and Clippers, and the Lakers and the Raptors last night as well. So, and then looking forward to watching the Celtics and Blazers
today
after we're done recording. So, yeah, been definitely getting back to watching my basketball games that I dearly miss.
Yeah, man. No, it was dope. So the NBA came back actually with a bang this time around in their reboot, and as promised, the players came out and pretty much getting their voices heard. I mean, they've been doing that since they got down there, speaking out, putting stuff out there in the public. But, finally the NBA was back and we got a chance to see the stuff that they had planned around Black Lives Matter and, social justice. So a lot of players took to kneeling during the national anthem, players, coaches, and referees alike, so it was a different thing. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you saw like the highlights and stuff like that. What'd you think about that?
I mean, it wasn't surprising. I mean, the guys said they were gonna kneel. I like all the different stuff guys on the back of their jersey, such as Black Lives Matter, say their names, education reform. So it was just a really nice show of support for all the coaches, all the players, the referees. Everybody was just kneeling. It was just a beautiful sign of
solidarity.
Support. Yeah, solidarity and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with that. It was, beautiful to see. Those, all the NBA players and the coaches and the referees, being on the same page. Mostly being on the same page. There was one that decided to stand out and not do so. We'll get to who that was in a little bit. But other than him, everyone else did their part in raising awareness for social injustice and, for the Black Lives Matter movement. The players did a good job of making their, voices heard in interviews, as well as the coaches during the pregame interviews and the postgame interviews. So that was pretty cool and great to see that those guys, know what their main purpose is for for the NBA, restart and what they're trying to accomplish. Besides obviously playing the games and playing for a championship, they're playing for something bigger than that, and they know this is bigger than basketball. So it's definitely a good sight to see all those guys doing those things, and I greatly appreciate what each and every player and coach is doing to uh, you know raise that awareness for the social injustice. So, thank you to the NBA for that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, for me, it was cool. I already, like Vlad said, I was already aware that the players were gonna kneel. Obviously, they've been saying that for months now. So that definitely wasn't something that I was surprised about. I mean, I was proud of them, for doing all they were doing. Just talking back when it comes to the guy in the White House and how he's trying to put this down as something that's like unpatriotic and stuff like that. So that's gonna, and if you're following the trends, all the sports teams have been doing that. But like Barry alluded to, there was one guy that didn't kneel, that chose not to kneel, that chose not to wear the Black Lives Matter shirt. And that guy was Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magics. And I saw that, right? And I had some thoughts about it. But first, I'd like to hear your thought. How'd that make you feel? Did you have a problem with that?
What did he say was his reason?
His reason was basically like, I understand the problem, but a T-shirt and everybody kneeling is not the solution. He doesn't believe that that's the solution.
As much as I agree that's not a solution, I just think there's a level of awareness that we're trying to bring to the issue and attention that we're trying to bring to the issue.
Yeah.
That the image of people kneeling brings out. It brings out the awareness. People are paying attention. It evokes emotion. People are getting angry about it, and some people really appreciate it. So I think that's the point of showing. The act of kneeling and the act of wearing the shirt raises those awareness. It raises conversations. It raises the conversation that we're having right now.
Yeah.
I've been having me and my friends, we've been having conversations about it for weeks now. It just raises the amount of conversations people are having and the awareness level that everybody's having, and that is also pushing people to take actions. You know what I mean? So I think, as much as I understand what he's saying, I just think it doesn't hurt to participate as in the actions that are being taken. So you can work on the side and come up with actionable solutions and participate in the demonstration as well. So I mean, to each its own. And if that's what he wants to do, cool. I just think he could have done both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying, and and understand where he's coming from in a sense, but at the same time, I felt like he still should have won the shirt and kneeled with the other players and his teammates during that game. I mean, obviously, it's not the not the total solution and stuff, but it definitely helps. Like you said, to get everyone's attention. That's the whole point of why they're wearing the Black Lives Matter shirts and why they're doing the peaceful protests and kneeling before the game. They're doing it just to make all the people aware that are watching that the NBA does really care and take these society issues seriously, and that they are trying to do what they can to be with the with the ones who need their support. So I think it's unfortunate that he decided to do that. I guess that's one person who isn't on the same page with everyone else, and I guess he just wanted to stand out and be that guy who didn't participate in that act. But I mean, that's his decision. to to not do so. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see if he continues to keep doing that moving forward as the rest of the season goes along.
Yeah, for me, I look at it differently in a couple ways, right? I think what Vlad was saying, bringing awareness, helping people talk about the conversation, like it's all great stuff, and it's been happening for a long time, starting with Colin Kaepernick and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, I respect people's individuality. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to like be with these people if he doesn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? If he believes that there's a different way he wants to do things, that's his choice. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people choose to kneel for the flag, some people don't. And it's like we got to respect that regardless of what they want to do. One thing I have an issue with is like you're on a team, right? So like you're on a team and it's like there's no I in team, and basically you just singled yourself out that you didn't want to be part of the team's ritual and that you were going to stand up and like make a different kind of statement. And you understand what the media is going to do. Even if you didn't like believe like the shirt was doing anything, it wouldn't have cost you anything to just kneel there. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's a 2-minute song. It wouldn't have cost you anything, right? But at the same time, it's like I respect the fact that he stood, like that's what he wanted to do. But it's like, just say, you didn't feel like standing up. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking about you don't think this is the answer, what is the answer? What are you doing? Like Vlad was saying, what are you doing to help the situation? If you're not gonna kneel, what else are you doing? If you're gonna inquire about the answer, what the answer is, like what are you doing to come up with that? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. At least for the players, they feel like kneeling is something that they can do to bring more awareness. You know what I'm saying? That's their way of contributing to what's going on right now.
Yeah, so to me, it's like if he didn't believe in Black Lives Matter at all, then he doesn't have to kneel. Yeah, because everybody has their opinion. If he doesn't believe in the cause at all, and he doesn't believe racism is active, he doesn't believe that black people is targeted, then don't stand. Yeah. But if you do believe that's happening and you just don't think that kneeling and putting the shirt on is not the issue, that's great. That's great that you think that because we should be doing more. I mean, just kneeling is not going to do anything. But exactly. Kneeling, like I said, brings out the conversation. It brings out people taking actions, right? Mm-hmm. So just like John said, it just wouldn't hurt if you kneel.
It wouldn't have.
If you believe in the issue, kneeling doesn't hurt. So, but anyways, he did it. It brought some attention to him and to the team.
Right, and it's like that's the other thing. You knew this was gonna actually cause to bring you attention, and you wasn't prepared to have like any answers. You were just talking about we don't have the answer. That's not the answer. So what is the answer? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, if you believe in so much and you're not gonna do this or that, like it's either that or just don't talk to like the media like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like that was my decision and that was it. I don't have to. You don't have to explain to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But, again, there's no I in team, and this dude definitely, his last name is Isaac, so, he got, maybe that some people might find that corny, but.
Right. I know that was a little corny joke, but no, I get the point for sure. I know he definitely wasn't being a good teammate at all, and I guess I think he just wanted to do it for attention, and he just wanted to be that guy for, not standing.
No, I don't think he wanted to be that guy. I'm pretty sure he believes what he's doing. I just think he could have kneeled.
It's like, bro, the world is watching.
He could have done both.
Exactly.
But to say that he was trying to bring attention, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but let's move on to some other stuff that's actually happening in the NBA.
Did you want to answer to that?
I just feel as if, he gets, like you said, has his own way of thinking, and, he has his own perspective.
I think that's important.
And for sure, and everyone's different, and everyone has is entitled to their own
can't be
opinion.
a robot, you know what I'm saying?
Right, and just right, and not being robotic and doing what everyone else is doing. So I guess he clearly thinks that the kneeling and wearing the Black Lives Matter T-shirt is not doing enough. He thinks that's not going to solve the problem and actually be something that's actually going to make change in the society, in the social injustice, that is going on in the country as we speak. So, but I definitely am with John in that. If you think that's not the answer, then why can't you come up with a better answer? Like, what is the answer if you're saying that that kneeling and wearing the T-shirt is not the answer? So, what's a better solution? Like, why are you saying that? That's not the solution, but you're not coming up with anything that's better and that's gonna benefit the cause and actually, provoke that change that we all want to see at the end of the day.
That's a fact, man.
That's all I wanted to say about that, and we can move on and talk a lot more NBA, because I know we have a lot more to get to.
Man, it's I don't know. I think it's unfortunate sometimes stuff like this take like a huge chunk of what's really happening and stuff like that. Taken away from what we're actually trying to do and stuff like that. So it's weird, but whatever. We saw some crazy games this week, like Barry was saying. Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers beat the Clippers, by a small margin.
By 2 points. 1 possession.
The Clippers were missing a lot of guys, so I wonder what happens if, Strip Club Lou was was on the floor,
Right.
But,
or even a better one, I heard this on Inside the NBA, Sweet Chicken Wings Lou Williams. As I like to call him. Yeah, for sure. So.
I think I like Strip Club Lou better because I came up with it. You know what I mean? So
that's true. That is definitely more original for sure. I'll give you that, John.
What do you guys think about the fact that the Lakers beat the Clippers without Lou Williams, without Montrezl Harrell? Like, do you feel that means the Lakers can't really beat the Clippers if they had everybody on the floor?
I mean, I think the NBA reboot just came back, so I don't think anybody's like polished or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think looking at the Celtics game, which we're gonna talk about soon. I think people are still trying to get acclimated to their team again.
Yeah.
Playing together. You know what I'm saying? They haven't really played together pretty much since like January or February, at the beginning of February. March.
Yeah.
Whatever, before COVID hit.
Right.
So I think it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
I definitely worry about the Clippers as far as like the players they always have out or unavailable and things like that. And, we're always talking about if they have this player, if they have that player. It's like, when are they going to actually have all the players, you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's been going on the whole season.
You know what I mean? It's been going on.
Right.
When this guy gets healthy, when this guy gets back, it's like, all right, this shit is still happening. So, I thought it was an exciting game. I thought at first, it wasn't like that great of a game, but at the end there, they ramped things up and it ended up being a pretty good game. Anthony Davis had a monster game, so it was entertaining, man. LeBron James, with the last shot, and then his work on defense against Kawhi and PG. That was phenomenal of him. So it was an exciting game, man.
Yeah, no, but sure, I'm totally with that. I thought it was a really good game, and particularly that fourth quarter was was fun to watch, and and it was good to see those guys go out there and compete and play hard and and go for the win. I definitely think that with this game, the the Lakers should have definitely beaten the Clippers more than 2 points with as dominant as, Anthony Davis was. And, with the Clippers, like we said, missing 2 key bench players and Lowell and Montrezl Harrell, it shouldn't have been as close as it was, particularly when the Clippers' second unit was out there. But they were, give credit to them. They, competed and they fought back into the game after trailing, and they definitely gave the Lakers all they could handle. It took a heroic effort by LeBron in order to beat them. So
see, I don't like when they say heroic effort by LeBron.
Well,
it's like Anthony Davis scores all this, all the points, and then LeBron James is like
Get all the
fake.
credit.
It's like
but he was the one that closed the deal. Anthony Davis,
I get it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's
Was dominant and for the first 3 quarters and was playing at a high level. But when it was crunch time and when it was money time and when it was time to win the game, the person that delivered and got them the win was LeBron James. I hear what you're saying, but I probably used the wrong word, heroic. To say the league, I probably shouldn't have said that. What I was trying to say was that it came down to a couple of plays and in a couple of possessions, and LeBron was the person who made those plays on both ends of the floor. Offensively and defensively. So, but definitely those are the top 2 teams in the West, and I think that definitely they could play a lot better, particularly the Clippers. So I'm sure that will happen once they get their guys back. So we'll see how that plays out once they're both at full strength and have a full rotation.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Like I was saying, dude. Like, I'm a LeBron fan. We had the conversation. I think he's the GOAT and all that or whatever. But it's like the guy took a last shot, missed it, got a second chance, and actually made it. But then he's like the hero. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, man, come on.
Because he also made the defensive stop
I don't care what he did, man. It's
but those were that was the difference in the ball game, though.
Yeah.
You shouldn't care what he did.
No, I do, but it's
that
like
affected the outcome of the game.
Yeah, but it's like any other player that does that is not gonna be like as polarized. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be like headline. Some guy made a painting with him like with the wings on. You know what I'm saying? Like going for the last shot and like 4 Clippers players coming up to him. Like, are you serious, dude?
Wow.
I mean, let's not even talk about how almost that game doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme.
Yo, like, dude, it's basically an exhibition game.
It's a great win for the Lakers, but I think when it comes to playoff time, I'm gonna take the Clippers.
Yo, if they play like that, I'm taking the Clippers
on the 7-game series.
No, for sure. But, I mean, the games do mean something. I mean, they're 8 seeding games. There's only 8 games left. So every game does count. Like, all these games are important, for sure. So you can't say, that they're not important and that they don't mean anything.
Actually, the games don't count because
they do. How do you figure?
They're on neutral sites. So it's like we're not playing for home court advantage. So it doesn't count. We're already
playing for
no.
seeding.
You're playing for seeding.
They're playing to put themselves in the best position in
so
the playoffs.
In a regular season, the best position in the playoffs would be for you to get home court advantage. You don't get that no more.
You also trying to play so that you don't play a certain team in the first round.
Right. So
to challenge what I'm saying, Barry, I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, that's a meaningless game. Like obviously it counts toward their record and toward like who they play. I'm just saying in the grand scheme of like, who's gonna win the West? Like that game doesn't. It's just to me it was like great. The Lakers got the win, but we all know who's gonna win a 7-game series out of that game.
Well, no, I'm not exactly sure we know that.
I think
I'm not exactly sure.
I'm
We know
actually
that
not
at
exactly sure we know that
No,
either.
at this
You know what
point.
I mean, I think anything can happen.
Right. That series can go either way. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
I'm taking
factors and things that could decide that.
I'm taking the Clippers.
A lot of people are taking the Clippers, but it is what it is. One team that actually didn't get the win, and it actually matters a lot for them because they're one of those teams that actually have to win games to actually make it into the playoffs, and that's the Pelicans. They were beaten by Utah, and in that game, Zion Williamson didn't actually play, the last few minutes of the game. And that was like a huge thing. Did you guys see it? And what you think about the decision to sit Zion the last 2 minutes, knowing that there's basically a season on the line?
Well, the coach had already said he wasn't gonna play Zion the whole game, and he was a minute restriction. And I think everybody's being careful about coming back. Excuse me, and giving players not pushing players too much. In order to not get them injured, so it just had to be done.
Yeah. So you agree with the move?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta take care of the players to make sure that they're here for the other games.
Right. Did you agree with the move?
I could see why he did it. I thought Zion should have played a little bit more, despite of him being on a minutes restriction, and the coach was, before the game saying that he was only going to play him for 15 minutes since it's the first game back of, their season. So, I know he wants to save him up and not really, push him too hard and, and play him too many minutes, and that could cause him to, re-injure what he's going through or get another injury. But felt like he should have played a little bit more, and I thought they could have played him in a crunch time since that was, like we said, a meaningful game for them, and every game means something since they're still fighting for that 8th seed to get into the playoffs, and they're a few games behind, so they definitely need to win as many games as possible. And unfortunately, they came up short in that game. But I feel as if that he definitely should have been out there in crunch time in the last few minutes, and that would have definitely impacted the outcome of the game without question.
No, I agree, man. I think these games are big and important, especially if you want to continue the season. I felt like the game was close enough where you could have let him play, and, in one of your other games, you might bring his minutes down even more, you know what I'm saying, because he was out there a little more than the night before. But at the same time, I understand, he does have an injury history, a recent injury history, and we don't want to re-aggravate anything. And, to me, he looked good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did. The minutes he was on there,
he looked good, man.
He was balling.
As always, so
facts, exactly.
It's just a different time in sports, you know what I'm saying? Sports medicine. Guys are not taking chances anymore. Guys don't have the mentality of Michael Jordan anymore.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, they don't.
So I watching that game, the Pelicans were in control of that game most of the game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were leading most of that game.
Right,
They should have beaten Utah.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I agree.
And I think that's where the coach is coming from. A game like this, where I already said I'm not gonna play my star player because I don't want him to get injured. I don't need to put him on the court for us to win that game. And we should have won that game. Like we have the players on the court to win that game. And shout out to JJ Redick, he had a great game.
Oh, he's been playing well. Absolutely.
Yeah, they should have won that game. So I think, if anything, the coach is frustrated as those guys because we don't need. I mean, it's true that I didn't put Zion on the court, but I want Zion to be here for the long run, and we had the possibility of winning that game, and we let ourselves down, and we didn't win that game.
Hey, man.
No, I definitely hear what you're saying, Vlad.
other notable NBA games that happened is actually the Pacers and the Sixers. The Pacers beat the Sixers, and T.J. Warren dropped it on their
Ooh, he
ass,
went
53
off.
points. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
That was crazy.
Woo?
Exactly.
T.J. Warren.
T.J. Warren.
Yeah.
That's my point. Would your 53?
Exactly. He came from
Y'all
from the
never heard
Suns.
of T.J. Warren before?
I-
Y'all
I
don't know
knew
who that
it.
is?
We've
I've
heard
known
of T.J.
T.J.
Warren,
Warren.
but the fact that he dropped 53, that's the last guy I expected to drop 53 on the Sixers.
For real, and
You didn't know he could ball like that? You didn't know
come
he had
on, man.
game
Are you
like
kidding me?
that?
That's the last.
he didn't have 53-point game. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
I'm playing. I know he's not that nice.
Yeah.
I'm just gassing him up. I'm just
I was
joking.
on the timeline like
T.J. Warren.
What is going on? Anyways, but that was crazy. That was crazy. And also so one of the reasons why I put down the agenda is because we are on the Eastern Conference, and we most likely gonna be playing the Sixers.
The Sixers, yeah.
And today, to see them crumbling like that with Joel Embiid arguing with that other guy. What was he arguing with?
Shake
Milton.
Yeah,
Their
so
new starting point guard.
and then they're losing to Indiana. Indiana is good, but I just don't think they're as good as.
No.
They shouldn't be. The Sixers shouldn't be losing to the Pacers. Absolutely. Right.
So to me, that's good news for me as a Celtics fan.
Do they don't even have Depot out there.
No, he played.
He
He actually played last night.
That's good because I didn't catch that game. And I know they lost Sabonis and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
that was a
unfortunate.
huge loss, and they still lost to the Pacers. That's
And
crazy.
That's big. That's good for the Celtics.
Yeah.
No, it's great to see that the Sixers crumble already.
Right. Already, man.
In
Joel
game number
Embiid,
1 of the bubble.
he's already getting in people's faces, man. It's crazy.
Right, exactly. And that goes to show that, how bad their team chemistry is and how they could be quick out in the Eastern Conference for playoffs. You
I
know what
hope
I'm saying?
so.
If things continue that way, from a chemistry standpoint.
I hope so. Other notable games: Raptors, the defending champs, they beat the Lakers.
That was a good game.
That was
Yes,
a
they
really,
looked
really
good
good
last
game.
night,
Good
too.
game.
They look good.
That was a good game, and the Raptors let the Lakers come back. The Lakers were leading at some point.
Yeah.
They let the Raptors come
It
back.
was a good game.
But throughout the whole game, I thought the Raptors were playing better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
They were-
Kyle
definitely
Lowry
a
was
better
doing
team.
his thing. Man.
Ooh, yes, he got buckets.
He
last
got buckets.
Night. Ooh, yes.
Yeah, man.
I'm never a big fan of Kyle Lowry, but whenever he plays like that, he puts me on.
He has some brilliant games, man.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Some really brilliant games.
No, but sure.
Another high scoring game. Rockets beat Dallas in overtime.
Yes.
And Brody and the Beard, so that's Russell Wilson and James Harden. They totaled 80 of the points, their team's points. So
Yeah, they both got busy. for
these
sure.
guys are balling, man. These guys are balling.
You guys,
but
I heard you watched that game, or what'd you think of that game? I didn't get
Yes.
to watch it.
there was no defense.
So right. I watched that game. Game was crazy because not only was there no defense being played, but the Mavs had a lead late in the fourth quarter with about 40 seconds left. They had a 7-point lead, and they still blew that game. And somehow the Rockets found a way to force that game to go into overtime. And then the Rockets ended up winning that game, with James Harden, taking over in the overtime. But it was crazy how they just fell apart at the end of that game and couldn't close it out. And it was interesting that to tie the game, Regan, Harden misses. They're down 2. Rockets are down 2. Harden misses a free throw, but not purposely. He was trying to make it, and he missed it. And then freaking Robert Covington comes from the other side and tips the ball in, and that ends up tying the game and sending it to overtime. So that was a really, awesome and intriguing game to watch. One of the better games that have been played, so far in the bubble. So yeah, no, I stayed up late on Friday to watch that game, and I thought Dallas had it, but the Rockets, ended up being resilient and finding a way to win.
Yeah, man, and no, that was a great game, high scoring game. I like offense. James Harden was cooking, boy.
Woo!
That
Yeah,
boy,
he was in his bag.
That boy bad, man.
In his bag.
Man,
it didn't seem like he hadn't played in 4 months. Like he picked up right where he left off.
Right,
and, man, he got buckets and straight up manhandled the Dallas Mavs without question.
Yeah, he can't play defense for shit, but
I
the
thought
man's
was
a
all right
bucket.
at times. He's still not very good defensively,
Yeah,
but
that's
at least
what I'm
he's showing
saying.
more effort.
That's
on
what
that
I'm
end.
saying.
Right.
But on to the home team. We can't talk about the NBA coming back without talking about the Celtics, of course, and they came back on Friday versus the Bucks, and unfortunately they took a loss. But in that game, there was a couple things that happened. First of all, did you guys get to catch the game? And, what was the emotions going through you when you were watching that game? Because I know there was a few back and forths.
You don't have to ask us if we watched the game, of course.
We're Celtic fans.
Of course we
No, I didn't watch the game.
You didn't watch it?
Oh,
Nah,
really?
I was actually driving to New Hampshire. I listened to the game on the radio.
Boy, how did you not
right.
set up your driving time to not drive during the game?
That's what I'm saying, John. The first Celtics game back,
Yeah,
and
no.
you didn't plan accordingly to watch it. I'm shocked, man.
Yeah.
You're usually watching these games and on top of these things, man.
Yeah, I had to schedule things around my daughter's schedule, so I couldn't be there for the actual game. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's surprising. Wow.
I mean, I listened to the game. I'm a guy that can listen, watch, and be at the game. I mean, it doesn't matter how I get it. I'm gonna get it.
At least you listen to it. Yeah.
Right. I'll give you that. At least you were following the game through the radio. So
Yeah.
good for you, John.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics versus Bucks was just it was just disappointing from a Celtics standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It just didn't look right at all throughout the whole game. Like it never felt as though the Celtics had momentum. It never felt as though they were in control of the game at all.
Mm-hmm.
We caught the lead late in the fourth quarter, I think, a little bit early in the fourth quarter. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
But we gave it up like as quick as we got in it.
Right.
Marcus Smart, hell of a player. Love that guy. He played
Yes.
really, really well. Had a great game. Tatum.
God, damn.
Did Tatum play?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a great
That's
question.
a good question.
No,
No.
That is a really fair and
He actually-
actually good question because he was an absolute no show for that game. There was times that game that I watched and I even forgot that he was on the floor. And it was crazy, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Brad. Sorry
Yeah,
to cut you off because I have a whole lot to say about that game, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it was just a bad game overall for the Celtics, especially in the paint. The Lopez brothers were cooking in the paint. Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just had like the Lopez brothers. Who are the Lopez brothers?
They're okay players, but you're right. They shouldn't be dominating the paint like that,
They
like
were
they
cooking
did
in the
on
paint.
Friday night. Right,
They
right,
were
like
cooking in the paint. So,
right.
Obviously, Giannis had a great game. I mean, he obviously was gonna have a great game, but
Yeah, we knew that coming in. Right,
I think we have a lot of work to do. Kemba being limited to the amount of minutes that he was limited was also a problem. Was also one of the reasons why we lost. But
Really? I thought he actually played well. I was okay with his performance and the minutes restriction that he played. Only played 19 minutes. I actually thought he was pretty good.
No.
I think he obviously could have played better, but he was all right. He wasn't, I would say, a reason why we lost the game.
you
But
didn't hear what I said though. I said Kemba's minute restriction is one of the reasons why we lost that game.
okay,
So
all right,
now-
no, that's a fair point.
Kemba
Okay.
Kemba had a great game.
Right.
For a guy that played 19 minutes, he had a great game and he looked really good out there.
Oh yeah, no
But
question.
the fact that Kemba wasn't out there all, I don't know, 30 minutes or 35 minutes that he would have played if he was healthy, impacted the fact that we lost the game. So
Okay, no, that's fair.
but overall, Kemba looks good. So I think hopefully Brad Steven can take him off minute restriction and he can contribute more and help us win more. The Celtics has a lot of work to do. Hopefully, I think there's a game today's Sunday at 3:30 against Portland. Hopefully, they play a lot better.
That's a fact.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to need to play a lot better because that what we saw on Friday night from them, that's not going to cut it.
No.
Guys like that they're not going to go anywhere playing like that. For sure. I mean, it was unfortunate that as that they played the way they did. I also want to let's give some credit to Gordon Hayward because I thought that he actually played pretty well out there and was actually a factor on the court. Because I know we've been critical on him on this show, but when a guy plays well like that, you also need to give him credit if you're going to criticize him for playing the bad games when he doesn't play well. And that was a big game against a very good opponent, and he definitely showed up and did his thing and played well in the minutes he was out there. I thought even with JB, he had some foul trouble, had some stupid fouls that he had, caused that definitely made it a lot harder for him to, to play well. But I thought he was okay. Besides the foul trouble, he still put up 22 points and, was still a factor out there. And even Brad Wanamaker, I thought he was pretty good out there. That bench with him and Smart out there, those two guys definitely had an impact. And I thought those were two of the guys that kind of got us back into the game and helped us, sort of, cut the lead down when we're trailing and, and not playing well. So when that was surprising because I didn't think that those would be two of the best players on the court to say the least for the Celtics. But they definitely got to give those guys credit for the way they played. So now that we get to the point, you're right. The main reasons we lost, one, obviously, Jason Tatum. We know how bad he was. Like, bad's even an understatement. The guy was horrific. Yeah. Like, horrendous. Like, 2 for 18, 5 points. The guy looked like he hadn't played basketball in 4.5 months. Like, I've never seen him look that bad and that out of rhythm as he was on Friday night.
He was for one of the games recently, this season, I believe.
Yeah, he had one other game, and I think it was a game that I was actually at in person. I think it was against the Dallas Mavs.
Something like that.
He went either like 1 for 17 or 1 for 18, and I actually went to that game at the Garden.
And 2 of those points that he got was actually tipped back in by the Bucks.
Right, I remember that's right. He just happened to be the closest player to the tipping, so they give him credit for the points. So he really only had 3 points in that whole game, which is pretty pathetic and unacceptable. This team, as we know, is not going to go anywhere if this guy is not playing better and not playing at a high level in the way that he was playing in February. It was extremely disappointing and painful to watch this guy play on Friday. That was the thing that really upset me and pissed me off about that game. So and now we know that this guy shouldn't be in the conversation anymore or is he a top 10 player? Is he an elite player? He still has a ways to go before considering him as an elite player in this league. So let's just put that talk on hold for now. And so another thing with this game was there were unfortunately some controversial calls, some critical calls that were made that didn't go our way. I can at least
A lot of them.
I think right. But I'll talk about the main three calls that really pissed me off, and that had me cussing at the TV like I haven't cussed before while I was watching this game. So the first play was the goaltending play on Giannis when he clearly hit the ball was on the rim after the Celtics shot it, and it hadn't come off the rim yet, and he had touched the ball while the ball was on the rim, and they didn't call goaltending. They let that play go, and the next possession the Bucks got it and shot a three and made it. So we're down one at that time, and now we're down four after the Bucks made the three. So that's a 5-point swing right there. Critical and pivotal play. The next play was when apparently Jaylen Brown, was coming off his screen. Giannis was guarding him. Tice went to go set a flare screen up top so that Jaylen Brown could get an open shot. And while he was trying to set that screen, he had made contact with Tice and elbowed him right in the stomach and groin area. And it was crystal clear as day. You could see that he had given him the elbow, and there should have been a foul call. And remember, he had 5 fouls at that point. So had they called that foul, there would have been 6 fouls, and he would have been out of the game, and that would have changed the whole complexion and possibly outcome of the game. So they reviewed it, which was crazy because they reviewed it and said not only was it not, for some reason they said there was a hostile act or something like that. They were reviewing it and they said that, not only was it not a hostile act, but there was no foul. I was like, what? No foul? Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Absolutely asinine that they called no foul on that play, and they still let him in the game. Now, the call that really ticked me off was, I think this was the deciding factor in the game. It was 107-107. I think a little bit less than 2 minutes left. Giannis drives to the basket. Marcus Smart rotates over and beats him to the spot and gets out of the restricted area and takes the charge. And on the floor, they called it offensive foul, charge on Giannis. Yeah. That was supposed to be his 6th foul, so he would have again fouled out of the game and been on the bench for the last 2 minutes. But they somehow went back and reviewed it. They said that it was no foul. Not only, they said it was a blocking foul that Smart apparently got there too late, which I definitely completely disagree with. I thought he was there on time, had his feet set, and took the hit right in the chest as he was supposed to, but that's not what the refs said, and they gave Giannis an N1, and he made the basket there, and they were up 3 and pretty much never looked back from then, because then after they hit Middleton, hit a 3 on their next possession, and that was the dagger. They went up 6, and pretty much that was the end of the game right there. So those were the biggest plays in the game, and that were the most frustrating to watch. As a fan watching the game, because, that's not the way the game should be officiated. But I know I went too long on this. Y'all are going to get on me for Barry.
Bro, Barry,
perfect.
That was beautiful.
You did perfect, man.
That was fucking beautiful.
We could have caught you off a long time ago, but no.
Seriously.
It was
I appreciate that, guys.
Beautiful
Thank
explanation.
You very much. Thank you so much, guys. I greatly appreciate that.
If you didn't watch that game, you learned some shit right now.
Yeah.
If you listen to Pro Fan Sports, you just learned some shit from Barry, yo.
Right. No, real talk for sure. No, I appreciate you guys for letting me go on that segment, because I'm sure when I spoke to y'all yesterday, I had, I told you I had quite a few things to say for that game, and I wanted to save it for this podcast. So now, for those who didn't watch that game, now they know why the Celtics lost and what were the pivotal points in the, plays that decided the outcome of the game. So it was unfortunate to see that those plays didn't go the Celtics' way and that they didn't make the correct calls. And that's crazy is that they were reviewed and they still made the wrong call. What's the point of reviewing a play if you're not gonna make the right call? Like it was bullshit. It was asinine. Like that was. Oh man, like I went completely off on my TV when I was watching that game and was furious to say the least. Like, oh man, that is tough of a loss as I've seen them have recently. That was crazy, man.
Nah, Barry, man. Again, that was fucking beautiful. Shit, I don't even have to say anything in respect to the game, man. If you were watching the game, man, you were frustrated with the calls that were being made on the court. And it's like, yo, the minute Giannis drives in, they call a foul on anybody who either like tries to, engage or tries to defend him. And it's like, and I gotta give respect to, and I get that he gets a lot of respect to Marcus Smart, man.
Yeah,
this dude is taking on Giannis.
Big shout out to Marcus Smart.
People don't understand the size difference between those guys and how hard it is for a guy like Marcus Smart's size to actually stand up behind that guy and prevent him from going into the paint at all times. Because we know if it's any other team, Giannis is going in at will. It doesn't even matter. And for Marcus Smart to do what he does, man. Young game changer, and he's that for a reason. And I thought he was the best player in that game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for the Celtics, without question. Absolutely.
He was the best player in that game, and we're gonna need him because it looks like these guys need a little something between their ears, especially guys like Jason Tatum. It's like, man.
Go ahead, John. Continue.
I get it, man. Your hair is nice and sleek and shit, but it's like, bro, like we're here to play basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not to be on GQ or something. Right.
Yes, I think it's imperative to me that the Celtics play well from the scrimmage games onto the regular season games. And I think whenever the Celtics don't play well in scrimmage games, I always hear, oh, well, it's only a scrimmage game. But
I said that last time.
It always carries onto the regular season games, and you can just tell. Jason Tatum had a terrible game that first scrimmage game.
Oh, awful. Against OKC. Awful.
And look at it now. And I think it was a mistake by Brad Stevens not to play them on their last.
Oh yeah, the last scrimmage.
Right against the Rockets. Right, he rested
the last
The Rockets played most of their starters most of the games.
Yeah,
most
of the game. And look at how well they played against
the Dallas Mavs the other night.
They could have played more defense, but that team just doesn't play defense altogether. So,
right. That's who they are. Right.
But I think it's a mistake that Brad Stevens made by not playing those guys.
Particularly Tatum, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, we have a game today. Hopefully those guys play a lot better, but man, we have a lot of work to do. For a team that people are saying, oh, well, the Celtics are one of the contenders this year. Well, it's not.
They need to look at it. They're not looking like it.
It didn't look like it on that first game. It's granted it's the first game, so we'll keep watching, but it just didn't look like it.
Hey, man, I hope they get their stuff together, man. And you know what? That's going to be it for the NBA. Let's jump into the NFL now. Actually, lastly, speaking of Marcus Smart, he actually got fined $15,000 for actually calling out the officiating during the game. And I completely agree. I didn't agree that, he should have gotten fined. But, it is what it is.
How can you blame him, right?
Exactly.
Look at how angry Barry got.
Right, exactly. Particularly with those plays I just beautifully broke down for y'all. You would, you know what I'm saying? You would think and figure that he would definitely have a lot to say and be very critical of the officiating as anybody would about that game. So, no, I absolutely do not blame him at all for that. I would have done the same thing without question. And he was stating facts, too, saying that the reason why they didn't call that sixth foul was because they were trying to protect Giannis and they didn't have the balls and were scared to, call that foul him out of the game. So he didn't
I
say
agree.
anything wrong.
I saw
agree.
this post that said Marcus Smart has paid a total of $330,000 in fines.
It's crazy.
Since he's been in the
Whoa.
NBA.
What?
They fine them all. I really don't agree with the amount of money these fines be. Like, I know these players get paid very well, but like $15,000, man, that's a lot of money, man.
Right, exactly.
Can you imagine, bro?
even imagine
Can you
that.
imagine what you're gonna do with $15,000?
Give me
Can you
I'll
imagine
be-
what Pro Fan Sports Podcast can do with $15,000 right now?
Woof, we're gonna do a whole lot,
Man.
A whole lot. Oh,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? It's
we could make some big moves with that.
It's crazy, man. But
It is. It
you know,
is.
let's move on to the NFL. And I know some stuff are happening in the NFL. So, like we mentioned earlier, the Patriots, man, they got players opting out left and right. Right now, they're up to 8 players, I believe, that's
Yep,
opted
that's
out
right.
already. So,
Correct.
right now, they had Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, Marcus Cannon, Brandon Bolden, Danny Vitale, Marcus Lee. The McCourty brothers may opt out. They're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I think Barry was saying one last dude.
It was Matt Lacoste, the
Matt
tight
Lacoste.
end, the starting tight end last year. Had just decided to opt out today. Just within the last good couple of
Where
hours.
we had a tight end last year?
Yeah, I know, for real.
Like,
Seriously.
Did we have anybody last year?
Yeah, apparently our tight ends were Matt Lacoste and Ryan Izzo, supposedly, but they didn't play.
I didn't see them guys.
And Ben Watson, even Ben Watson didn't play well when he came back either. So
I thought he was retired last year. that's how little
Right,
of an
right,
impact
for real.
he had on the game.
No,
you know what I'm
facts.
saying? But with all those players opting out, that has created actually a really good cap space for the Patriots as an organization, and they're going up pretty high in the amount of money they have, how much cap space they're going to have for the season next year. And that definitely brought up to the question, right? So they could use this cap space to actually sign a lot of players right now. Sign players that are free agents. People like Jadeveon Clowney is out there, and some other notable names are out there as well. And so the Patriots can definitely sign some of those guys, right? But I think the question is, like, what should they do with the extra cap space that's been created due to the players opting out? Like, should they go in this year and sign guys, or should they wait until next year and make that cap space roll over so they can have more?
Well, I think before we go into the cap space, I just want to say how crazy it was when I woke up Monday. I think it was Monday morning. We just heard Dante Hightower,
Yeah, Mr. February.
Patrick Chung. Just like it was crazy because remember last week we were talking about guys opting out, and the guy from the guard from the Chiefs opted out, and I was like, yo, what do you guys think? Do you guys think there's gonna be a bunch of players opting out? And I remember Barry was saying, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. And I agreed. I wasn't too worried about it either. Mm-hmm. And then Monday morning, it was like, basically half of the defense of the Patriots, they're gone.
Yep.
Like,
Right,
Isn't that,
for
wasn't
real.
that, I thought that was really crazy.
Oh, yeah, facts.
And I saw people that were saying, Bill Belichick has something to do with it. Bill Belichick is,
Oh yeah, he's the mastermind behind this.
which is ridiculous to
Oh, yeah,
hear.
laughable.
But at the same time, if that was true, that would be crazy. But anyways, it sucks that all those players are opting out as far as football goes. But it's also understandable because those players some of them have new kids, some of them have cancer survivors, and the coronavirus is nothing to play with. So I just wish those guys health, and also hopefully they can feel at peace not playing, because you've been playing that game all your life, and all of a sudden you're sitting at home not playing. That can fucks with your mind. So hopefully they're good, and it's and also takes a lot of guts. Somebody like Hightower, who's been in the league for 8 seasons now, and going into his 9th season, and that's him giving up money, that's him potentially retiring after this. You know what I mean? Like it
That's
doesn't
him
mean,
potentially losing his spot on the team next year.
yeah. So it takes
Right. I
it
know
takes
there's a lot of him on, like, especially a contract year
yeah.
for him too.
Patrick Chung just got restructured with his contract,
Right.
and now he's so that's it takes a lot of guts, and I admire those players for doing the right things for themselves and for their family. As much as we as fans might not think they're doing the right things for the as far as the team goes, but for themselves and for their family, they're doing the right thing. As far as cap space goes, it's great. It's created more cap space. I think it's imperative that the Patriots go out and make some moves to get some players to replace those guys. We don't necessarily have guys on the back end to replace the level of plays those guys we're bringing to the forefront. So I think the Patriots has a duty to go out and get players to play this year. And as smart as Coach Belichick is, he's not going to use all the cap space to get players. So I believe there will be some left over for next year and for the years coming. And if there's one coach that's been able to maneuver the cap space for his benefit throughout the cap space era, it's been Belichick. He's been great at it. So I do think he's gonna use some of that cap space to get players this year. Maybe Javon Clowney, maybe Clay Matthews, some of the guys that are out there. But I do think he's gonna leave some of that money for the years coming, and also to sign some of the players that he wants to be on the team in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure, Vlad. Yeah, it was pretty crazy hearing about all those guys opt out for the Patriots, particularly Dante Hightower and Pat Chung. But at the same time, I wasn't too surprised when I heard about it, even though I know I said on last week's podcast that I wasn't too worried about, guys opting out, particularly the big name guys and the household names. But when I had heard on Double Coverage, which is the McCourty Twins' podcast on, that they were doing on Sunday night, and they actually had both Dante Hightower and Pat Chung as guests on their podcast, and they were both saying that they, had, questions about coming back, and that they were, potentially they could, opt out due to their situation. I know both of them are in similar situations with Dante Hightower just having the new baby on July 16th, so definitely want to congratulate him on that and his family as well. And then Pat Chung is actually expecting to have a baby in the near future as well. His wife is pregnant. So once they pretty much said that on the podcast, I knew that. I'm like, yeah, these guys aren't going to be playing with the Pats this year. And then also the McCourty twins, I know both of them have children. And both of those guys, when they were talking about their chances of playing this upcoming season, they didn't really sound too thrilled about, coming back and playing the 2020 season. So I knew there's going to be a chance for them to opt out. They still haven't decided quite yet. But yeah, it's a huge loss for, losing the, guys like Hightower and Chung, and those are really tough guys to replace. And I don't even know if they can actually find a person to replace those, particularly with Hightower, since our linebacking core was already weak as it is, and not losing a lot with that position with Kyle Vanoy and Jamie Collins being gone. Now we've lost pretty much all the veterans we had on that linebacking core. So Belichick's got his hands full to replace, a guy like that and Pat Chung. I'm not too worried about the other guys. In fact, those guys are, replaceable, and Bill will do a good job in terms of finding guys to be able to fill those positions on the team. But definitely the defense took a huge hit, with those, two guys opting out for the season. So it's good. Bill is definitely gonna have to, get creative and find a way to, either
Well, the
with
question
this cap
is,
space. I know you were
excuse
talking
me, Barry.
about.
The
Go ahead,
question is,
John.
do you think like the cap space? Do we roll that cap space over, or do we use it for this year? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. With that being said, I think with the extra cap space that the team has, they should use some of it to, sign players. They're gonna need at least a couple of defensive guys, to be able to, play and actually fill that void on on the defense. So I'm sure they'll make at least a couple of moves and a couple of signings and sign at least another linebacker or two to replace a guy like Hightower, and then signed another safety to replace Chung. So I'm sure some of that cap space will be used, and then some of that cap space will be saved probably for next year as well, since the team's expected to have a lot of cap space for after this season. But definitely they need to use that money to be able to replace those guys, because that's just that's just too big of a loss on the defense to not bring anybody in to replace him. I know a signing they had was of this free agency was Adrian Phillips, a safety that they had signed early in free agency from the Chargers. I know he's going to play a bigger role on the defense now that Chung is gone, so he'll get a lot more opportunities to be able to play and show what he can do, for on that side of the ball. So, we'll see what Bill decides to do, but I know I'm going too long. But we'll, definitely have our hands full with what all the guys we've lost this off season.
I agree with some of the stuff you guys are saying. As far as the players opting out, I was definitely very surprised about Dante Hightower, because he's been the anchor of our defense for a long time, and he's the guy that makes sure everything runs properly at all times. So
he calls the plays.
He calls everything, man.
Facts.
And and he comes up huge in the playoffs. And
facts.
we're a team that goes to the playoffs every year, regardless of what the hell is going on. We don't know about this year. We're not guaranteed, since we've lost some key pieces. But I thought that was the biggest loss. And then Patrick Chung came, and I'm like, holy shit. One guy that really made sense to me was Marcus Cannon. I'm really glad that he actually opted out, because I would really hate for something to happen to him during the season. And I think people forget sometimes, like, this is a pandemic. Like, people are actually fucking dying. You know what I'm saying? So if these guys choose to opt out just because they don't want to catch COVID, like, we have no space to actually say anything. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
like,
exactly.
we really,
gotta respect
this
that.
is a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? You can't send people out there to die. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Herman Cain. Rest in peace to him. But, shit like that. We're not invincible. Yeah. I'm sure, if people don't know who Herman Cain was, he was a former presidential candidate, avid Trump supporter and all that stuff. And, he's actually an African American dude that actually died this week due to the coronavirus. And, he was known to say things like, it's a hoax, and it sucks, man. And people got to remember, this is a real thing that's happening, as Kemba is balling right now.
Yes, he is.
He is balling.
Absolutely. He looks good out there.
Yeah, but the pandemic, man, is really happening right now, and we can't fault anybody for it. But as far as the cap space, I think it will tell us a lot based on what Bill Belichick decides to do. Yeah. If he's actually signing guys, then he actually thinks this team has a good chance of making it somewhere this year, right? Like, if he's signing notable guys and trying to replenish, the positions we've lost, like, let's say we get a Jadeveon Clowney.
Yep.
Bill Belichick thinks, like, he wants to actually try and play and win this year.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, facts.
and if he doesn't believe that this team can do it this year, I don't think you will see too many acquisitions, and he's gonna play the smart thing and go, you know, roll with next year.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm curious to see what happens, and I hope he thinks that we do have a good chance and he signs people, you know, because that will mean that, you know, we're in a good position. And if the coach believes that we're in a good position, who are we to question that?
Right,
You know what
facts.
I'm saying? If he sees Cam Newton and he's like, oh, yeah, you know, and then start signing guys, then that will tell you that, you know, Bill Belichick really believes this team can actually go somewhere this year. But we'll see.
I feel as though a guy like Belichick doesn't have an off button. Like, he's just out there to win.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't
Facts.
know. He doesn't know. Let's go halfway. So
Right,
like,
right.
he's always gonna do everything he can to make sure the team is in a good position to win and potentially go deep into the playoff. But one thing, it's gonna tell me if Bill Belichick doesn't start signing players, it's gonna tell me that he doesn't believe that the NFL season will go on as it should.
That's
It's
interesting.
just
That's
going to
interesting.
play. Wow,
Because-
that's a good point.
Because of the COVID-19.
Wow, okay.
So
No, that's a
we'll
good
see.
point.
We'll see.
That's a good point. I like that.
That's a good point, Vlad. No doubt.
More in the NFL. The annual NFL Top 100 came out this year, and there's,
sir.
you know,
That's right.
a Patriots guy on there, which is Stephon Gilmore. He came at number 9th. He's
That's
a rating.
crazy. Only one Patriot guy on there.
On the right. I know that. That's shoot.
Anybody else you guys think should have been on there from the Patriots?
Julian.
Jules should have been
Edelman,
on there.
Jules.
J11.
You
Yeah,
know,
but he had a couple injuries this
Dante
year.
But he still
Hightower.
balled out last year. He put up really good numbers.
He had a couple of drops. He had too many
Of
drops.
course, he had a couple of
No,
drops.
he had too many drops, like not more than usual.
Nah, but he still should have made top. Come on.
top 100. You
Out of
can't
100,
right?
like,
You can't
come
tell
on,
me
man.
he's not a top 100
There's-
player in the NFL right
I'm
now.
okay. I'm okay with him not making it.
There's not.
What?
There's not 90. There's not 100 guys.
You guys that are better than Julian Edelman. Facts.
Right.
There's not.
Like
There's
the
not.
disrespect.
There's
The
not. There's not
disrespect.
100 receivers, but there's 100 other players that are better than him.
No.
I
I don't think like skill wise, everything that he brings to the game. I don't think so.
Based on this year, based on what he did this
Based
year,
on last
with the-
year?
yeah,
Banged
based on,
up, still
based on the
coming in?
injuries, based on the drops he had. I think he had some notable drops this year that I just
Nah,
I'm okay
I
with
think there's a lot of bias and bullshit when it
There's
comes
a
to
lot
the
of
NFL
bias.
Top 100 because there's guys that make it in that didn't do shit the year
Right,
before.
facts,
You know what I'm saying? And a
exactly.
guy like Julian Edelman busts his ass year in and year out and doesn't make
Hey,
it.
he
He
made-
actually came out 101.
yeah.
Wow.
They gave
The honorable mention.
Really?
They gave 10
Wow.
10 honorable mention and he made it.
Yeah.
They made it 101.
He's only 5'11", 200 and something pounds. Just, you know, game in and game out, getting the biggest hits in the game and just rolling that off his shoulders and keep on going. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man. I thought he was definitely snubbed.
Oh,
but,
big time. He was the biggest snub without question. No doubt. I mean, this guy had over 100 catches and over 1,000 receiving yards at age 33 and still playing at a high level. I get he had a key drops, but still, this guy should have been a top 100 player without a doubt.
There was some other surprises, you know, on the NFL Top 100.
Yep, sure were.
Larry Fitzgerald, he actually made it again. He's the only non-quarterback player to appear on the Top 100 list for 10 years.
Ooh, nice.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
awesome.
So that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Larry
I think
Fitz.
I think the quarterbacks are Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Larry is the only non-quarterback that's made it.
No, that's
all
dope,
this.
and he
Wow,
deserves
that is
it.
dope. Oh, yeah, much deserved. Well,
He deserves
He's
it.
one of my favorite receivers. He's just like a solid. He can play the slot. He can play the wide, and he's just a solid player. He blocks. Like I just love Larry. There was a rumor maybe 5 years ago that the
He was going to
Patriots-
come to the Patriots.
Yeah, and that was-
There's
that
a
would've
rumor
been-
about everybody.
That would
Right.
That would have been the most beautiful thing to see.
Right. Next year, we're getting Odell Beckham. There's always that fucking
I
rumor,
know,
okay?
right?
There's always a rumor. The top
at least-
receivers, we were supposed to get Stephon Diggs. He's with
Oh,
the Bills.
The
okay?
Bills now, yeah. And I know for us, like a different guy every year is always being rumored to the Pats for wide receivers. Exactly.
Yeah, some other notable names on the ranking this year. Patrick Mahomes, he was actually the number 4th player. you
What?
know? Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You just wait. You just wait. He was the number 4th, and the number 1 player was Lamar Jackson, and the number 2 player was Russell Wilson. As you can see, Barry is
Barry, try not to scream this loud.
Oh, my bad, guy.
We're recording and it picks up some of the peaks.
Sorry about that, guys. That was just an instinct reaction. I was just that shocked.
That was a live reaction.
Yeah,
Didn't know
it
this.
was. Yeah, I wasn't aware of this. So yeah, that's
Okay,
crazy.
but I think that raises some questions, right? Patrick Mahomes is number 4. Clearly, you don't think that's the position for him, and Lamar Jackson is number 1. Lamar Jackson is number 1, Russell Wilson is number 2, and Mahomes is number 3. What do you think that should be?
I mean, unpopular opinion, I do think Lamar Jackson deserved number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that Russell Wilson number 2. That came out of nowhere to me.
Okay.
I was like, Russell had a great year last year. And
He finally got some respect, and this is the way you guys do it?
He's been balling out, and don't get me wrong, like I think he deserves to be in the top 5 players, the top 5 of the top 100. But I think I would have given Patrick Mahomes that 2nd spot before I give it to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's a fact.
For me, I'm appalled the fact that they had the audacity to have this man Patrick Mahomes, who to me is the best quarterback in the league and arguably the best player in the league, outside of the top 3 at number 4. That to me is absolutely asinine.
Stay on the mic.
As I was saying, to me, Patrick Mahomes not being listed in amongst the top 3 best players in the NFL right now is absolutely asinine and egregious. That doesn't make any damn sense to me at all, and that's why I had the reaction I did once John was saying who the top players were. Like that just discombobulated my mind right there. I would honestly have Mahomes number 1. With all due respect to Lamar Jackson, I know he was an MVP last year, had an unbelievable season. Went 14-2, but unfortunately didn't play well in that playoff game against the Titans. I would probably have Lamar at either number 2 or number. Well, I'd probably have him number 3 because I'm okay with Russell Wilson being number 2 because I think that Pat Mahomes, you know what I'm saying, should be at 1. I can do Russell at 2 because I definitely think he's deserving of that, and I'm glad he got the respect that he deserves finally. It was a long time coming, but he deserves to be right there in the top 3, and then I would probably have Lamar at 3 or 4. So, but Aaron Donald was at 3, so maybe I'd have Lamar at 4 because Aaron Donald's definitely a top 3 player in the NFL and the best defensive player without question. So I definitely completely disagree with these rankings. These players are out of their minds for, ranking Pat Mahomes out of the top 3. I honestly don't understand why they would do that. So those are my rankings on who I would have for the top players in the league in the rankings that they should be in.
Yeah, for me, I agree with Vlad. I would definitely keep Lamar Jackson at number 1.
So you're saying Lamar Jackson is better than Pat Mahomes?
No, I'm saying based on last year
regular
and
season,
what he did,
last
he
year
was the
regular
number
season,
1 player.
Lamar had unbelievable.
He was the MVP of the league, man. You know, so it's not like
but he's still not better than Pat Mahomes.
Listen,
Of course, he's not better
we're
than Pat
not
Mahomes.
saying he's not
We're
better.
talking about he had a better year than Pat Mahomes last year.
But that's 1 year, guys.
That's the
That-
point of the top 100.
It's every year.
It's top 100 of last
It's
year.
every year. That's why we're
top
talking about.
100 is top 100
Nah.
Of last
the
year.
guys in the league.
So if
Of-
that was the
exactly.
case, Julian Edelman would be on this freaking
He
list.
should be on there. We just said that.
Exactly.
But it's based on the
But
year.
it's
It's based on the
based
year
on-
he had last year. It's not based on career. It's based on the year he had last year. The Patrick Lamar Jackson had a better year than Patrick Mahomes last year.
Absolutely.
He did.
You forget
And that's the
Patrick
point.
Mahomes was injured too last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
he
saying?
missed 2 games.
And-
Only missed 2 games.
Yeah, but he was still
balled,
injured.
though.
That alone,
Pat
that
was
alone,
still injured.
balled, though.
that
He
alone
was-
takes you out
He was still injured
because
and-
he had such a great year.
No,
Sorry.
for real. No, it's cool. But I definitely would keep Lamar Jackson number one. One, it's like if you watch the games, man. Last year, his team was definitely the best team last year, right?
In the regular season.
and in the regular season, we're talking about regular season.
That's the point.
Didn't
of the
show up in the playoffs though when it mattered.
Listen, it's-
didn't show.
what is
up
it?
when-
Lamar
when it
Jackson's-
was on the line. Where was he at against the Titans?
what is it? Lamar Jackson's second year?
It was, but still.
Come on, man.
But
There
still-
was things
but
Lamar
so what
Jackson.
did Pat Mahomes do his
Listen,
second
there
year?
was things Lamar Jackson was doing Patrick Mahomes will never dream of doing. You know what I'm saying? As you
Well,
know,
just
as
'cause
far
he
as
was
like
running?
athleticism, man, come on. He was juking dudes, like stopping.
The
Dudes was flying around
things
him.
Lamar-
You
Of
saw
course,
him play the Patriots.
The
man. He
things
fucking
Lamar
balled.
Jackson was doing on the field, the things that we saw maybe once with Michael
It's
Vick.
video game shit, bro.
Yeah, it was
You know what I'm saying?
unbelievable. I
Um,
didn't want to buy into the hype. Like I remember that first game. I think one of the game he scored like 5 touchdowns, and I was like, yeah, that's like he's getting lucky right now.
Yo.
And
It
then-
was the
and then-
first game was against
and-
Miami. They played Miami.
and then
the
he
first
did,
game,
and then
of
he
the
just
year.
kept playing well and well throughout the whole year. Now he had an unbelievable year, and he deserved to.
He had an unbelievable
he
year.
deserved the number one spot.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is the number one, he's the best quarterback out there, but is he the best all-around player out there? I don't think so.
I mean, I
but-
think he is, even with all due respect
listen,
to Lamar
I think-
Jackson.
I think a lot of
all-around
people-
playing quarterback that definitely goes. In my opinion, I get what you guys
The
are
best
saying about
all-around
Lamar.
quarterback?
Yeah, that goes to Pat Mahomes, even with the year that Lamar Jackson.
I don't know,
had.
man.
And then that's to me only 1 year. Let's see what he does this year. 'Cause
Hey.
I agree. I agree with Barry. Patrick Mahomes is the best all-around quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Based on last year, we had a better year. Lamar Jackson. And
man.
he gets number one for that.
Okay, all right, that's a fair point. Fair enough.
Nah, for sure, man. No, that was a good little argument there. But yeah, man, that's it as
Raising
far as
my
the top
blood pressure.
100s. But we saw some other things moving in the NFL as well, as far as like player signings. The Buccaneers signed LaShawn McCoy.
That's right. They
So
sure did.
last year his stats were he had 456 yards. He averaged 4.6 yards a carry, which is actually pretty good for a running back. He had 4 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown. So the Bucs offense, is got a little more robust. I don't think they need any more help than they have already, but they got it right.
They did at the running back position. They
Right.
didn't really have any running backs that were, that was serviceable, and I think that could actually play, that had experience. So no, this is definitely a really good signing for the Bucs, and now it pretty much that was really the only hole in their offense, and they just filled it with LaShawn McCoy. So yeah, I think that offense is absolutely loaded and scary, and it's going to be one tough offense to stop with all those weapons they have over there. So no, good for the Bucs and good for LaShawn McCoy. He was able to land with the Buccaneers, and they're able to add him to the offense and what they already have over there.
Yeah, everybody wants to play with Brady. Another guy that's always in the headlines, it seems like some news happened for him, and we're talking about AB, Antonio Brown. He actually got suspended 8 games for this season. So I know we've talked about him. We've asked if he's going to come back this season or we think he's going to be signed again. Even if he does get signed, he's going to have to wait half the season to actually play any games. So
More than half.
No, yeah,
No,
that's the
8,
season.
8.
Yeah. That's exactly half.
yeah, and
I remember when we were talking about this, and I was trying to tell you guys that he might get suspended 6 games,
Right.
and you guys thought that was crazy.
Now,
But
I mean,
he actually came close to that.
He
Vlad.
got more.
Right,
He got way more
more.
than that.
Well,
But,
that's
I
when he
mean-
got a little more, but you were
Yeah.
the closest. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
I would like to see what the NFL is suspending him on, because I haven't heard anything that he's doing out there, other than I think he pled guilty to that charge with the moving guys.
Yep.
Where he had to like pay them or something like that.
I think they said it was something against their NFL conduct policy.
Right, right.
Something like that. That was their reasoning for suspending AB for 8 games because he violated the league's conduct policy.
But it actually could be more games based on things that are coming out in the future. So they've opened it up. If anything comes out about him and detrimental to the league and stuff like that, they can suspend him even more games. And more in the NFL, Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, he's actually on the physically unable to perform list because it's designated COVID-19. So we don't know if he tested positive. We don't know if he was around somebody that might have tested positive. We don't know what the designation really means, but
So basically, this year the NFL created a different PUP list.
basically,
Right,
another reason for the PUP, basically.
Yeah, so it's a separate PUP dedicated to COVID-19, and like just like you said, nobody knows exactly what's going on with Stafford, but there are rumors that he might have COVID.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The MLB, moving on to the MLB now, man. Home team,
Yep.
the Red
The
Sox, in
Red
Boston,
Sox.
baby. They're
What
not
is
doing
go-
so well.
What is going on?
Yeah, I mean,
Team's
if you've
absolutely
seen everything
trash,
that's
man.
happened the
Garbage.
last year and the trades and the people that's left the team, you should have figured this out
That's
already.
true.
So
That's true.
this shouldn't
Right,
be a
facts.
surprise. So right now the Red Sox really suck. Their record is 3-6. They're last in the AL East.
Yeah.
And one really bad news is Eduardo Rodriguez. He's actually out for the rest of the season due to complications from COVID-19. He actually developed a different type of sickness due to it too, actually.
Had some heart issues too.
Yes,
That's
so he's
right.
had some heart issues, and like we were saying, man, this is a fucking pandemic.
Yeah, this
and
shit is
people
no
are
joke.
dying, they're getting
Right,
sick,
right.
and they're gaining long-term effects
And
through this.
When people say they don't want to play, it's not they're selfish. It's not they're weak. It's shit. Shit is scary.
Yeah, man.
Facts.
And
For real.
more on COVID, it's not only affected. Actually, we were talking about the Red Sox and how they suck. I forgot to open it up to you guys. Like, do you guys have any comments on the Red Sox season so far, other than they just suck?
Honestly, I really don't. I just think they really suck right now, and it's not gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change at all this year. I think it's gonna. We're not gonna have a great year. I doubt we'll make the playoffs, and we just have to wait till next year. And next year will be a longer season, an actual season, hopefully. And I think they might hire Cora back. And I think
Wow.
and I think then we can start making changes and but as of right now I think this is gonna be a really bad year for the Red Sox.
Yeah, like you all said, the team's just absolutely trash and hot garbage right now. Their pitching sucks. They only have one starting pitcher and Nathan Eovaldi, and then the rest of them, I don't even know who their names are, but I don't even think I need to know who their names are because all we need to know is that they just flat out suck and, can't pitch well at all. They haven't gotten any good outings other than Nathan Eovaldi for the couple of starts he's had. They seem to not be able to, when they get down early in games, they don't really, not able to come back and score runs. So it's like the offense too hasn't been very good. It's only when they get out into an early lead that they can actually be able to, have a chance to win game. And the bullpen, the start has been bad. I think the bullpen's been horrific.
Yep.
The bullpen's been like a million times worse. Like,
They were bad last year.
right, exactly. That was another issue with the team last year. Like they can't even get to the closer Brandon Workman, who's only had 2 saves, and that was with their games recently against the Mets. But besides that, he hasn't been out there because they've always either been down, or the game's pretty much been over by then. So the team's just not very good, and I don't see it changing in the foreseeable future. I think this is just a lost year for the Red Sox, and it's just really not with all they've lost in the off season. We kind of knew that this was gonna happen with this team, so they're just not. They just have too many holes on that team that need to be fixed, and hopefully after the season, once we have a full off season and have a normal season, they can be able to fix those. But that's definitely not changing this year, and they're not going to make the playoffs and go anywhere.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with everything you guys are saying. It's like, there's nothing to see here, guys. Like the Red Sox, just move aside.
Right,
and I'm really
seriously,
glad
there
that
isn't.
it's only 60-game season, so
Yeah.
we won't see this shit on the field for too long.
Much
You know
longer.
what I'm saying?
Thank God, guys.
So
Thank God.
I'm definitely not watching the Red Sox too much this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They did make a splash in their season opener. That was great. But,
I know, that was like,
Right.
that was so surprising. I was like, oh, maybe
that
we
was
got
an
something.
apparition. You know what I'm saying?
Right. For real, that got us all excited for nothing. Now, oh shoot, maybe this team could actually be something this year and actually, you know what I'm saying, like win some games and have a chance to make the playoffs. But nope, after that game, they just dropped right back down to earth and haven't done a damn thing since. Like, for the team's just unwatchable, guys. And I've
Right now
watched a
they
couple of their games, and it's painful to watch.
Who is their even freaking manager right now?
Oh, it's Ron Renicky.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
So he had managed a couple of teams in the
I could
past.
care less, man.
No, he was lastly the manager of the Brewers, the Milwaukee Brewers. He was an assistant coach for the past 2 seasons. Part of Alex Cora's staff when he came in 2018. He was an assistant coach with the team and was last year as well. So, but yeah, he's not the right manager for this guy. I actually agree with Vlad and wouldn't mind them seeing them bring Alex Cora back, for next year, because they need a better manager and someone that can actually motivate and get the best out of this team. And I feel like Cora did a very good job of that in 2018 within his first year, and that's why they won the World Series that year.
Yeah, man. No, for sure, man. And some other news that's happening in the MLB. We were talking about Eduardo Rodriguez with the COVID-19 effects to his body and stuff like that. Well, there are a couple teams that are in trouble. There's several teams that are actually in trouble due to COVID-19 outbreaks, and those teams are the Marlins, Phillies, and the Cardinals. And basically, all of them have to postpone games for the season, and those games have to be played at other times during the season. And what they're actually gonna do is they're gonna do a lot of doubleheaders, for scheduling those games that happen, and those doubleheaders will only be 7 innings.
That's right. Yep. Yes, sir.
So that's cool and all, but
just to add to what you're saying, John, it was the Marlins players went out and partied in Atlanta with like Lou Williams.
oh god,
They might have went to Magic City too, Lou Will.
They might have been with, exactly. They might have been with Lou. So they went to Atlanta, partied, and then now they spreading the COVID. They spread the COVID throughout the whole camp. The Phillies got affected. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the Cardinals, but hey, it's not looking good for baseball right now.
No,
Yeah,
sure isn't. Those damn Marlins just had to go to Magic City and go get them wings and be like Lou Will.
Yeah. Jason Tatum balling right now. He's doing his thing right now.
Finally.
Just a little update real quick.
Yeah, so we are watching the game live as we record, just because that was the best time for us to record. So we'll give you guys an update on how well the game is going.
Yeah, no, Jason
How well
Tatum,
the
he's
Celtics
definitely
are
not zero for whatever he was
For
the other day.
the last Friday night. Well, thank God, guys.
Kemba is balling too.
Kemba's balling.
Yes.
Kemba looks beautiful.
Oh, awesome.
Marcus Smart is being a menace on defense.
Yeah. Right.
Tice is going in on the screens, and they're doing well right
Playing
now.
with a lot more energy than they played last games.
That's good.
For sure. Absolutely. I'm glad that we're actually seeing the Celtics team play like themselves and play like we expected them to.
Yep, we just literally were crapping on them, but now they're making us look they're making us proud.
That's what we need.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
Right. For now, let's hope we can keep this going because it's still early in this game. I know it's still the first half, so it's been a good start for them. They just need to, keep it going and keep playing at this level and be more consistent.
Yeah, man. But back to the baseball. So Marlins, Phillies, and the Cardinals, they've all had COVID-19 outbreaks. So I'm gonna start calling the Marlins the strip club Marlins. Kind of like strip club Lou. They would probably be sitting on the table with that dude too.
Who knows?
But knowing the structure of everything that's going on this year with the season and how it's a shortened season and how they're trying to cram a lot of games in and things like that, with the teams that have these huge outbreaks within their teams, which is gonna take them obviously time to actually get better, get over COVID-19. And if anybody still has symptoms, then those people gotta, God forbid, anybody's like Eduardo Rodriguez. God forbid that doesn't happen to anybody else on any other team. But I think the question should be like, should these teams forfeit the season?
The MLS had 2 or 3 teams catch COVID early on in their tournament, and they had those teams had to drop out. I don't think it'll be it won't benefit baseball to cancel the whole season. If they cancel the whole season, I think that will hurt them a lot. For sports that's already hurting for viewers and for viewership and people that to pay attention to them, I think if they cancel the whole season, that will be very problematic. But I do think if those teams are occurring, they're not playing games, so they have maybe like 5 games that they have to play toward the end of the season. I think that might be problematic. I don't think there might not be time for them to play all those games. So if it continues and if they're taking a long time to get better, I do think they might have to cancel to just take those teams out, especially if it's taking some of those players 2 to 3 weeks to recover.
Some people take months.
That's a lot. That's a lot of games. So I think. I think it might be worth it for those teams to forfeit the season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with Vlad on this. I think that the MLB shouldn't forfeit the season. You're right; it would just be too costly and do too much damage to that sport to the point where I don't think they'd be able to recover from that because they're already in a bad spot as it is, and they did so much just to have this 60 game season that for it to just go away like that, they'll definitely wouldn't be able to ever recover from that. So with that being said, with these teams that just had the COVID outbreak this year, did I say that correctly? Because I know y'all get on me a lot for not saying it correctly.
Yeah,
so I just want to make sure that I pronounced it, said it correctly this time. Finally.
COVID-19. I'm like, what? What is that? What is that?
COVID-19.
Yeah, I try to tell them.
I'm glad I finally said I just wanted to get y'all approval on that.
You got it right.
I know y'all be getting on me a lot for mispronouncing that name.
So the reason why I think it's funny, Barry, I think I've never heard anybody else mess it up but you. That's why it's crazy. It's like, bro, like, is somebody around you saying it that way?
Like, why do you say this?
I think it's the people that I hang out with, guys, that's mispronounce it, and then that kind of, it's contagious and rubs on me and gets me to mispronounce it. So.
I've never heard anybody else mispronounce it but you, buddy.
Hey, it is what it is.
But okay, no, I hear. But I just wanted to make sure I got it right that time, so I'm glad I did. So I think, with these teams and the shape that they're in and what has, recently transpired this past week, I think it would make sense for those teams to forfeit their season, because it would just, take too long for all the, players on those teams and whoever is a part of those teams that have it, as far as like the other positions. Since I know there's other guys that aren't players that have it as well, I think it will just take way too long for all of them to recover and to, get them all back on the field at the same time. So if they did if the league made them forfeit their season, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it would, make sense, because then they're holding not only themselves, but they're holding the rest of the league back, because there are other teams in the league that would have to play them that wouldn't be able to play them. I know the Nationals had a vote this past week, and their players voted against going to Florida to play the Marlins. They were supposed to play the Marlins this series, and all the players said, no, we're not going to go over there and, risk getting the virus and putting ourselves in that position. So, which I don't blame, and I totally agree with it. So, you're thinking that that's probably going to be the best thing for the league to do if it comes down to them having to make that decision of whether to forfeit the league or just have these teams forfeit their season. I think that's the best thing for Rob Manfred,
because obviously the team doesn't have regulations in place for the players to stay safe. The players are still going out there, going to the freaking strip club. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro,
it doesn't make any sense, man. And with the season being short as it is, I think it's unreal. Okay, that's fucking unreal.
Forfeit the season. That's one. Get people healthy. Get back next year. Hopefully everything gets back to normal next year. We still don't know if that's going to happen. But at least you'll have everybody getting taken care of as far as that COVID-19 goes. You still don't know how symptoms are going to be affecting guys when they come back. You really want to risk thank that? God, some guys like Marcus Smart in the Celtics, he got away with no symptoms. He was asymptomatic in the first place, and now he doesn't have any lingering issues. We still don't know that because we're not scientists. But at the same time, it's like I'm not risking that if I'm in one of those teams or if I'm in one of those cities that have a real issue with COVID-19. Like that's something I would definitely think about, especially having a young kid, having a family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's not a game. It's really not a game. Even though they're playing a game, whatever's happening outside right now is really not a game, man.
Yeah. No, it isn't. It messes with people's lives. Absolutely.
So I think you guys both answered the question about canceling the season, right? Rob Manfred actually came out and said that he could, if teams don't get those things under control, he could actually cancel the season, which I don't know. I think that's strong of him to say because I feel like he's non-existent as a commissioner.
Yeah. For facts, he isn't. He is non-existent.
I think that's just him, like trying to bluff, like trying to see, make sure that those teams adhere to some of the protocols. But I don't think he wants to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, that's true. No, I agree. He's definitely not about that. He's trying his best to put his foot down and lay down the law and get those teams to get their shit together and straighten out. But as far as if he has the balls to do it, no, I don't think so. He ain't about that life, to say the least. I don't think he'd actually do it. I just think he's giving them a warning to, not have this thing continue, or else there'll be no choice but to cancel the season. So that's how I feel.
I mean, I would have canceled baseball, period, if I was a commissioner, man, just because there's so many players and, they have no plan. Like, they really have no plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the plan that they came up with, I feel like is lacking a lot.
No, I hear you, John. It's like it's not like they have no plan. They're just not. They just decide and choose not to go by it. That's the issue.
They're not following.
That's the problem. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. I
it is bullshit.
I
It's
just
ridiculous.
wouldn't have the season at all, man. And
No, I don't think it benefits baseball to not have the season. I think if they don't have the season, they're gonna lose an amount of fame that they cannot recover from.
Right, they have too much to lose to not have this season.
I think definitely that would impact their fans, but them staying out of the season, that would definitely cause some people to miss it a lot, and that would also give them a chance to come up with new things to make the game better. You know what I'm saying? Come back with like a brand new game, not a brand new game, but like a revamped rules and different things going on. And I think with COVID-19, they're definitely being forced to do some of those things right now. So I personally wouldn't mind if they wasn't playing, but they are playing, and hopefully those guys actually stay safe, man. Because as you guys can see, COVID-19 is not a fucking joke.
Nah, it's not a joke. Anything to be playing around with. Not at all.
More on baseball, actually. Joe Kelly, our former Red Sox relief pitcher,
yeah.
He actually got suspended 8 games, right? And if you guys saw the game, you might have some opinions on that, right? So I think the question that I need to ask was the 8 games with what happened, which was he didn't hit a player, did he?
He threw at a player. He didn't actually hit him. It went behind.
That's what I'm saying.
him.
Okay, so he didn't actually hit nobody, and he got hit with 8 game suspension. Keep in mind the fact that the season's only 60 games, so 8 games out of 60, that's actually a good amount, of the season. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think it was fair or excessive, and why?
I mean, I think some of the reason why he got the 8 games is because of the taunting, right?
And partially, that's what it is.
The taunting was a big part of it. I mean, the Astros have it coming for them.
Facts.
They're gonna have it coming for them the whole year. I think baseball did the right thing in suspending Joe Kelly, just because you shouldn't tolerate those things in your sport. Like guys attacking each other, that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Do I think the Astros deserve it? Yeah, they deserve it. But you're not gonna allow people to attack each other in your sport. That's just not the way sports is played. So I do think the baseball did the right thing. 8 games was excessive.
Oh yeah.
8 games was definitely, that's more than 10%.
Facts.
That's more than 10%. So 8 games was expensive. 4 games would have been fine for me. But like I said, I think the reason why the baseball did that is because they know that's going to be happening toward the whole season. Excuse me. And they don't want that to happen toward the whole season. So they had to lay their foot down and make sure that they know, hey, if you do some shit like this, I'm going to suspend you for 8 more.
A good amount of games.
Maybe 8, 10, or possibly more. Right.
But I don't see this being the only time that the Astros get targeted.
No, it sure won't. I mean, this is definitely excessive. I mean, I don't feel too good about the suspension. I want to give a shout out to Joe Kelly and say free Joe Kelly.
Free Joe, baby.
Yeah, say that guy is definitely a dog, and that's my guy right there. Like, he's a savage, and definitely I can see why he did it. I feel like this one's on the MLB for not punishing and not disciplining the Astros players like they should have in the offseason. But yeah, exactly, because if they had done that, then Joe Kelly wouldn't have to come out and do this and throw at Alex Bregman and then taunt Carlos Correa like he did this week when the Astros played the Dodgers. And the fact that they didn't suspend any players from the Astros, I think it rubbed a lot of MLB players the wrong way, to the point where they're like, all right, MLB, you know what? If you guys aren't going to do anything about those guys cheating and, doing what they did was wrong for the game and messing with the game's integrity, we're going to take it in our hands and we're going to retaliate and show them that wasn't okay, and that's not going to fly, and that's not going to be acceptable in our game. If you guys aren't going to do anything about it. So I'm sure that's how Joe Kelly felt when he had played the Astros this week, and that's why he took matters into his own hands and felt like he personally had to do something about it to send that message and make a statement that this, that was totally inexcusable, and this stuff isn't going to fly in our sport.
I think the MLB was definitely really excessive with what they did to Joe Kelly, and I completely agree with Barry. Like, you guys fucked up by not doing anything about the Astros, period. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And, like, you guys just expect guys to come in for the season and just, like, play like nothing happened. Like, these guys did not cheat. Like, you guys did not do anything to do anything about this. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's about saving face. And it's like, for me, I would much rather see the gamesmanship between those players. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
Facts.
if you play a bully and a guy that cheats, like, you're gonna make sure they remember They remember it. You know what I'm saying? When you see them next time on the court, you're gonna do something to remind them, like, I know what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that takes away from it a little bit. I definitely think, they should definitely regulate if guys are, like, targeting people. But at the same time, like, every game a guy gets, like, targeted. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
One guy gets
That's
hit.
part of the sport.
It's part of the sport. It's kind of like hockey. Some guy's gonna get his face beat in at some point.
Right, facts.
And I know that's not baseball or anything like that, but these guys are highly competitive, and they don't want nobody getting an edge over them. And I can completely understand why players are mad and stuff like that. While I understand why the MLB suspended Joe Kelly, but I don't agree with the amount of game. I would be okay maybe with, like, 2 games. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like, I don't
right.
think 4. I think 4 games is excessive.
That's
you know what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about that. But free Joe, like Barry was saying, free Joe Kelly.
Free
man.
Joe Kelly. Yes, sir. My guy.
Yeah, more in baseball. Lorenzo Cain, he's the outfielder for the Brewers. He opted out for the season. We'd like to say congratulations to Mike Trout. He has a new son, Beckham Aaron. And MLB came out with more safety protocols for the COVID-19, which they should have came up with everything. Contingency plans, emergency plans, all that kind of shit. It's not
Facts.
Now that players are testing positive for you to come up with a plan.
Facts, exactly.
I was trying to look up what the new protocols are. Did you? I didn't
see it yet.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I was trying to find out exactly what they were. I think one of them was that they changed the kind of mask that the players were supposed to be wearing. But I'll look more into that and and have more information on that for the next episode next week. But yeah, I wasn't able to get any more other than that.
Yeah, man. And that's gonna be it for our MLB segment. And by the way, it's Celtics update. Jason Tatum is absolutely on fire right now. I believe he has 19.
Finally woke up. He's
20
in the
points
bubble.
right now in the first half. He's. I think he heard us loud and clear, man.
Celtics are leading 67-46.
46. Yep. How many
Second
points does Jason
quarter.
Tatum have? I think he has like 20
I
right now.
didn't check, but I can. I'll update us on the next update.
Yeah, man. No, he's doing his thing again, people. So
Yes,
that's good.
JT is back. Well, at least for now. For
this
now.
game.
For this
He's
game.
back for
Right,
this game.
right. I shouldn't get too excited and too carried away, but it's good to see that he's playing a lot better and is actually looks in rhythm and definitely looks like himself. So hopefully he continues to play like that moving forward.
Yeah, actually, I want to tell you guys, if you're watching this video, man, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, please subscribe, put on your notifications. Make sure you get this video when it comes out. Invite your friends to like the page. Also, like the channels. We're on all social media. Actually, we're gonna start going live during the week. Just so we can keep you updated on some of the sports stuff that's happening. So look out for that, man. And again, thank you for watching Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go. NHL is back, man. So, some things that happen in the NHL, I know the Canadians beat the Penguins in overtime 3-2. The Rangers beat the Hurricanes 3-2. Blackhawks beat the Oilers 6-4. Panthers beat the Islanders 2-1. And I know some stuff is happening.
That was the first day of games.
Yep.
Like I think they had 5 games or something the first day.
That's right.
Yep, and I know the Bruins had some stuff going on. Barry, you want to tell us what's going on with the Bruins?
Yeah, so as I'm sure you guys know, or if you haven't found out, David Pastrnak, a.k.a. Pasta, as they like to call him in
Pasta.
Boston, he apparently was not able to, participate in any team activities for a while since I don't know whether he actually had COVID-19, but I think they said he was like in contact with someone that could have it. So he had to be away from the team for a while and had to do the quarantine and all that before he could actually get back into participating in hockey activities with the team. So, but fortunately, he's finally back now, and he's actually in the bubble in Toronto and with the team, and was able to, I think he played the game which he scored the only goal. He played the exhibition game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, by the way, in which they lost 4-1 and they got their asses kicked.
Let's talk about that game a little bit though.
So you want to talk about that game? What did you think about the game?
I didn't get to watch that game, but I saw some of the highlights and just listened to some what other people had to say about that game. It was a horrendous game by the Bruins, and for a team that was on top of the league before COVID, it looks pretty scary. The goalie
Tuka
Out allowed 3 goals in the first period.
Oh Lord,
looked good, man.
He looked horrendous out there. And guys were giving up the puck in their own zone. The team just didn't look good out there. And I think it's a sign for worry for me. I mean, I'm not a big NHL guy, so don't take my word for it. But I just, as a sports fan, just watching that team, watching the highlights, I was like, yeah, that team does not look good right now.
Yeah.
And it's good that Pasta is back, and it's good that he scored that only goal during the scrimmage. But man, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, actually, speaking on Tuka, he actually did not practice with the team on Saturday after the exhibition game.
So he didn't practice with the team on Saturday after the exhibition game. Today's Sunday, August 2nd.
Yes.
They're playing against the
Flyers,
Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
Tuka is out.
Yep, he's not playing today.
Is out. So
that's right. Halak's getting the start.
Exactly, and I'm actually worried. I'm not sure if he has COVID or not, and that would be a really bad sign for the Bruins.
Yeah.
And an update on the game that they're playing against the Flyers. They're in the second period right now. There's 6 minutes left in the second period, and the Bruins are losing by 2.
Yep.
2-0. Wow,
2-0.
Already.
And
so they're not looking good.
That's a big deal. If Tuka is not in as a main goalie and one of the top goalies in the league, that's a big deal.
We're sunk.
Oh yeah, no, that's
sunk,
true. The team's in bad shape if he's not out there on the ice and in front of the net without question. I know that's definitely a big concern for sure. And it seems like this always happens with Tuka. Like, whenever you need him and whenever there's a big game, there's always something that happens, with him, and he's never available and not able to play whenever he's needed the most.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Barry, thank you for taking charge of that right there.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. And thanks for you guys putting your input on the NHL and on the Bruins, for sure.
For sure, man. We're actually going to move on to soccer, man. I'd say the MLS, but we know our boy Vlad covers a wide spectrum, man.
Right. He covers the whole soccer sport. Right.
The real football.
If I watch just MLS, then it just wouldn't be satisfying.
You're not a soccer fan.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Facts, for real.
But we are gonna start with the MLS. Just give you guys an update on the MLS. So the MLS tournament, we started maybe 3-4 weeks ago. They're right now they played their quarterfinal stages over the weekend. The quarterfinals were Philadelphia versus Sporting Kansas City. Philadelphia beat Sporting Kansas City 3-1. It was Orlando versus LAFC. Orlando beat LAFC in penalties. Then it was Portland versus NYFC, New York FC. Portland beat New York FC 3-1. And then last game was Minnesota versus San Jose. Minnesota beat San Jose 4-1. Just to clarify, Orlando beat LAFC in penalties. So the game was tied 1-1, and they went to penalties. And Orlando beat LAFC 5-4. LAFC was actually my pick to win this tournament.
Yeah, right. Weren't they one of the top teams in the league? I don't know much about soccer, but I know that they're like one of the best.
They are one of the best. They are one of the best team in the league, and they just lost to Orlando.
Orlando, wow.
And now they're out.
So that's a huge upset right there.
Exactly. So basically, the quarterfinals are over. We are now moving on to the semifinals. The semifinals will be played August 5th and August 6th. August 5th, we have Philadelphia versus Portland. August 6th, we have Orlando versus Minnesota. With Orlando beating LAFC, I think I have Orlando advancing to the finals. We'll see how that goes. The finals will be taking place August 11th, and will be. I don't watch too much MLS, to be honest with you, but since there's only 3 games left, which is the 2 semifinal games and the final game, I'll do my best to watch those games and give you guys some insight on what I thought of those games. And I definitely watch the final. The final should be a big deal, so I definitely watch that. Outside of the US, we have PSG, who won their 3rd cup this year.
I don't understand this stuff, man. How many winners do they fucking have?
So
I don't dude. There's a winner every week. Like there's a cup they win in. There's a championship. Like I thought Liverpool won some shit, didn't they?
Yeah. So
exactly.
Why are people still winning stuff?
They win the chip. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like I thought they already played the season and Liverpool, took the cup. So right, no, it's like what's going on?
This is why.
Y'all wanna have another 2-hour podcast so I can go over this? No. So let me tell you guys real quick. So
break it down for us. Bro.
Liverpool plays in England, and they won the Champions League. Not the Champions League. The Premier League, which is the English league. Like that's the league in England. PSG who plays in France, who's and the French league is called Ligue 1. And you play in the league, and within the league there's 2 cups that you can win by playing into competitions. There's Coupe de la Ligue and there's Coupe de France, which PSG won all 3 cups. PSG won the league by beating most teams and by accumulating the most points. They won Coupe de France, which was last week or a couple weeks ago, and this weekend they won Coupe de la Ligue. So they completed a treble, which is an amazing accomplishment in their league. But to be honest with you guys, the reason why PSG is winning so many games is because they have the most money. So soccer is a little bit similar to baseball in terms of the teams with the most money usually wins.
Okay, I get it.
Because there's like no salary cap or anything, like just like in MLB. Gotcha.
Exactly. As far as next thing is, Arsenal won the FA Cup against Chelsea. Hey, yo, calm down, John. So
sounds like another one. Like you gotta be kidding me.
Within the Premier League, there's the FA Cup that the English teams play, and the final was between Arsenal versus Chelsea. Arsenal beat Chelsea 2-1. Aubameyang scored both goals for Arsenal. Christian Pulisic. I don't know if you guys have heard of Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic is an American player. He scored the only goal for Chelsea. Shortly after he scored the goal, he got injured, which is a big deal. People make a big deal about Christian Pulisic because he's an American and it's not often that an American is really good at soccer.
Yeah.
But he's actually a pretty good player, and he's playing really well, and he's been playing really well for Chelsea. So hopefully he gets better and he recovers soon. Juventus finally won Serie A, and they hosted the trophy over the weekend. But the thing I'm most excited about is the Champions League. The Champions League is the top teams in Europe plays in the Champions League, and that's one of the biggest competitions all over Europe. People, leave their, like, I watch that shit at my job when I'm like, because that's like a big game to me. It's almost as big as the World Cup. Like, people take that very seriously. So Friday and Saturday, Friday, August 7th, we have Man City versus Real Madrid and Juventus versus Lyon at 3 p.m. On Saturday, August 8th, we have Barcelona versus Napoli and Chelsea versus Bayern at 3 p.m. So I'm very excited about those games. And real soccer fans know how excited we are about the Champions League. Like, that's like every year you just get really excited about that. So anyways, I'll keep you guys updated on the outcomes of those games next week.
Yeah, and I apologize for the diehard soccer, fans, man. I'm just trying to get it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot going on, man. I'm just trying to get on board here, bro.
It's too much for you to handle.
I'm just trying to be on board, man. There was like 3 cups given out in that one update. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but all those 3 cups were in different countries.
Yo, this is wild, and I'm supposed to watch every single one.
You don't have to. I'm just a big fan, so I decide to watch all those. But some people pay attention to just one country.
I think the question for me is, which one of those is the NBA or the NFL of soccer?
So,
that's a good question.
In your opinion.
So each country in Europe has its own league, right? Each country each country over the world, each country over the world actually has its own league. But the top 5 leagues in Europe are the Premier League in England.
So that's number 1.
That's
some people. What I need. I just need to know the number one.
There's all those 5 leagues are pretty good. They're all on the same level. Well, I mean, if you think about it, so let me give you an example. So Canada has its own basketball league.
Yes.
Mexico has its own basketball league.
Yeah, but we know the American guys are
the American guys are better, but
exactly.
But it's the same thing. In Europe you have 5. There's 5 good leagues. That's why soccer is so popular.
So which one is the Americans?
No, there's no Americans because
I know, but which one is that league?
What's the American version of that league? That's what John's trying to add. There's no American version?
What I'm trying to tell you, soccer is such a popular sport around the world that there are multiple good leagues.
I see.
So
I just have to do more homework.
If basketball was as great as soccer, then there would be like 5 different NBAs where those leagues are really good.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for that, man. And again, I apologize to the diehard soccer fans, man. I still love you guys. But thank you.
I'll stick up for you.
Get hip to.
I'll stick up for you guys.
I'm trying to be with you guys. That's all I'm saying.
Next week, I'll bring a board depicting all the leagues.
Seriously, and if you're a huge soccer fan watcher, please subscribe to the channel. Vlad will get you together every time. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But let's move on, to the last but not least segment of the show, man, which is, as always, the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. B Money, let's get it.
Yes. So for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, it is a person who we previously talked about on this episode, and he did a big thing this week, becoming a part owner of the Kansas City Royals, and that person would be Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
Boss moves.
Yes. Making big boss moves.
Boss moves.
Oh, yeah. Big man things. That's they call them.
Things, man.
Yes, he sure is. So that was really cool and awesome for him being a part owner of the Kansas City Royals, particularly since he is the youngest part owner in sports history. So
that's a big deal.
Yes, it is, absolutely. That's huge, for him to have that accomplishment. And the guy's only 24, 25 years old.
Boss moves.
Like, it's incredible that he's already making these kinds of moves at such a young age and already has a really good business mind. So, I mean, what an off season that this man has had, and this just adds on to it and makes it even better. Just will quickly read a quote from the Royals and from Patrick Mahomes himself on their press release. So the CEO of the Royals, John Sherman, said that we are very proud and excited to have Patrick as our partner in the ownership group of this franchise. Along with the rest of Kansas City, I have watched Patrick compete and become an extraordinary leader both on and off the field of the football field. So, that was John Sherman, who is the chairman and CEO and principal owner of the Royals, who had said that about Patrick Mahomes. And now a quote from Mahomes was that he said that I'm honored to become a part owner of the Kansas City Royals. I love this city and the people of this great town. This opportunity allows me to deepen my roots in this community, which is something I'm excited to do. So he's clearly excited and looking forward to the opportunity of him being a part owner of the Royals, and I think that it's a great thing that they were able to, have him as the part owner, and I think it's definitely good for him to do this. I think this will encourage and start a new trend of having more young athletes who are currently still playing in their sport look into being part owners and getting into ownership and then doing big moves like this moving forward. So definitely big shout out to Pat Mahomes for this impressive and amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, man. No, shout outs to Patty Mahomes, man. Even though we're Boston sports fans, and he's a bitter rival for us at this point. Even though he hasn't won too much against us, we're still afraid of that guy. But to see him making all these moves and doing everything that he's doing as a black man, in this country, and getting that huge contract, the richest contract in history, and then now being a part of a franchise, he could elevate that, and he's gonna have income forever now. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
And I think people forget that Patrick Mahomes' dad was a baseball player, and that guy knows a few business moves himself. So he comes from a great family, and he keeps making the right decisions for himself. So more power to him, and just good luck, Patty, man. As far as your business endeavors go, more power to him.
And I just think it's funny because I've been having conversation with most people around my life about what would you do with $450 million or $500 million, however much Patrick got, and he just showed you what a good business move would be with that amount of money.
That's the first step.
Right.
You didn't see no jewelry, no big ass cars, which I'm sure he has, but that's not what you hear on the news. You know what I'm saying? It's whoo. Jason Tatum, boy.
Man, that boy is working today. He's getting busy, man.
So
I think he has like 24 points now. 25? 26.
Ooh, 5 for 7 from 3.
Good
Ooh,
Lord.
Man, that man is cooking and in his bag tonight. He's officially arrived in the bubble, folks.
Now that we are at the end of the show, you guys want to just give your thoughts on how the Celtics are playing against the
Blazers.
The Blazers before we go?
They're playing pretty well right now. I think we're up by 20 right now, and it looks like they got energy. Guys are making the right reads, making the right passes, playing hard. They look like the Celtics right now, to be honest with you.
And I think Kemba playing more has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like Kemba's been unbelievable. Tatum's been unbelievable. I mean, everybody's playing well actually. Like,
exactly. The whole team.
I don't have a lot of bad things to say like on this game.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good looking game, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
And,
no, it's completely night and day. With this team, they look like the Boston Celtics that we thought. This is how we thought they were gonna play coming into the bubble, into the NBA restart. They're finally starting to show that when they're healthy and have everybody on their court and have the full rotation, that they can play at a high level and then they can, continue to, play well as a team. So, like I said before, they just have to be more consistent, continue to keep playing at this level, and guys just have to, bring their A games every night and, and not try to do too much and do what they do. So, and I think we'll see more of this Celtics team moving forward as long as they stay healthy and no one is on minutes restrictions. And that was an impressive dunk that we just saw by Jaylen Brown, led by the good defense that they played. So
fast break, baby.
Yeah. So they're looking good and looking forward to the rest of their season.
What do you guys think about how Portland is playing right now?
They look like trash, man.
Like what's going on?
They haven't been good all year, man. So I don't think this is something new. It's just they've had a lot of injuries. Had to bring in different guys in different roles and stuff like that. Just haven't had continuity at all this year, and their defense always sucks. So it is what it is. But I know
that's factual.
A lot of people are listening right now. It's probably going to be one of our longest podcasts. So we're just gonna sign off on that note, man.
Yes,
hopefully you
yes,
catch
we
the
will.
game and
Yes,
you enjoy it. And we'll see you on live on social media.
That's right.
All right.